Hello everyone. This is Pinkie, the housewife, and I do want to talk about the devastation that's being um, that's going on in California. All right, let me just say that my prayers go out to everyone in California, Los Angeles, no matter where you are. If you're in California or you have a family or anyone, loved ones out there, my prayers go out to you. And that's what we're going to talk about today because I know a lot of people, a lot of my subscribers, a lot of my members, and people that watch my channels, I know they have loved ones, and a lot of them live out there, live in California, live in the surrounding areas, or where the devastation, where the wildfires are. So that's why I'm bringing this to you tonight before I go to bed. All right. Now it's almost 2 o'clock. It's 1:42 a.m. My voice, as you can see, my voice is leaving again. Let's just hope when I wake up in the morning, it's not going completely like it's been um, because of the laryngitis. So let's just pray that I keep my voice doing this. Okay. But I do want to talk about it. The in Los Angeles, the deadly wildfires is devastating neighborhoods, homes, businesses, stores, you name it. It is the animals that's out there. You have people that have horses, dogs, and cats, and other animals that's there. You know, the cows, the pigs, and even people, their homes. Some probably just moved into their homes. Some probably um, been there for years, been in their dream home, been raised in those homes, or just finished building, or moving into a home, getting settled with their family. Some people are in nursing homes that's having to get out of there. And a lot of them can't get out by themselves. They need people to come and help them because there's not enough healthcare workers to get them. Hospitals, stores, you just name it, is being destroyed by these wildfires. And I'm going to let the video play so I can save my voice because my voices keep cracking. So I'm going to play the videos that I have lined up. I have 2 videos lined up for tonight. And then we will talk about it tomorrow. I may go live with it tomorrow. But right now, I'm going to save my voice and let the videos play. Okay, guys? Before I do that, let me go ahead and get on with my house rules. Welcome to the Pink House. I want to welcome everybody. Whether you're watching me from Pinkie the Housewife, my very first channel, or whether you're watching me, watching my second channel, Pink Global, or whether you're watching my third channel, which is the original Pinkie. But either way, welcome to my Pink House. And hit the like button before we get started. Okay, go ahead and hit it now because I need all the likes I can get to keep my channels up and running and get 2 of them monetized. Okay, Pinkie the Housewife been monetized, but I just need the other 2. All right, subscribe to my channels. Make sure you hit the subscribe button, and I want to thank you all for doing that. Now let's go ahead and get on with the matter at hand. We're going to be talking about the wildfires that's destroying all across California. Okay, so here we go, guys. And I'm going to go ahead and save this voice because it's about to go away. All right. So the information is this credit for this video is going to be from NBC News. Um, and the title is At Least 5 Dead as Wildfires Tear Through Los Angeles. I know my voice is really sounding bad. I can hear it. But the information will be down in the description. below my video. Okay, so if you want to go back and watch it, you can. All right, here we go.
Welcome. I've covered wildfires in California since the earliest days of my career, and I don't remember anything quite like the firestorms raging across Southern California tonight. Multiple major infernos destroying more than 1,000 homes and businesses, killing at least 5 people and defying efforts to contain them. Firefighters in Pacific Palisades outmanned and in some cases out of water, hydrants running dry, firefighting aircraft for a time grounded by ferocious winds, some gusting around 100 miles per hour. Rows of homes and restaurants along the Pacific Coast Highway were consumed by the flames. This is what it looked and sounded like. Almost haunting, the Pacific Palisades fire growing to nearly 16,000 acres. 40 miles away, the Eaton fire turned deadly and has exploded to over 10,000 acres. Tonight, thousands in the region are under evacuation orders, filling shelters. Schools are closed, while power is out for 1.5 million Southern Californians. Gotti Schwartz is in the fire zone to start our coverage.
This area of Altadena has become an absolute wasteland. You've got rows and rows of homes that have burned. You've got some homes that are still standing, but it's just a matter of time.
This was the moment the sun rose over the fire raging above Pasadena, but you'd never know it because the dawn disappeared in the smoke.
Again, you hear those explosions. So many of these homes, there is no hope.
But against the odds in Mother Nature, some stayed doing everything they could to fight back.
There are people still here trying to fight this fire with garden hoses. There is still water in this area, but with this much destruction, it almost seems futile. You were here fighting by yourself, right?
Yes.
How long have you been out here?
I've been out here since 4 a.m.
4 a.m.
Yes.
Trying to protect your home.
Yes.
You now have a full, contingent of firefighters here.
Yeah.
It seems like it's right in the nick of time.
They saved this home for now.
Yo! Hey, I'm taking it in.
A scene that played out across so many fire lines, from the foothills of the Angeles Mountains to the Palisades.
And then trying to make entrance. They're smashing down that door. They got to go inside. They got to make sure no one is here.
Who else is left in the house? Right. Yeah,
Homeowners on rooftops trying to wet down everything.
Here they come. We're going to help you.
It's hard to show the scope of what's going on.
As we headed down Sunset Boulevard, the loss was worse than any fire we've ever seen.
And this looks like the apocalypse here.
In the chaos, way too often, firefighters left without water as hydrants went dry.
They are not designed to fight wildfires. A firefight with multiple fire hydrants drawing water from the system for several hours is unsustainable.
Water!
Officials say they weren't able to fill tanks fast enough, which would have helped with the water pressure. Something NBC's Morgan Chesky saw firsthand.
Out of every fire hydrant you've seen, what have you found? Right now, we're finding most of them are down or low pressure. If you had a hydrant for this building, if we had a hydrant for this building, we might have been able to save the back house.
This apartment complex is untouched for now, but you can see how close those flames are. Firefighters are making their way up. Again, they're having to ignore massive structures like this huge apartment complex. It looks like it's going to go up imminently because they are just overwhelmed. There isn't enough water up here.
The winds also grounding that critical support from the sky for most of the day. And when firefighters were able to make a stand and save a home, there was no victory. Just a brief reprieve from the helplessness of fighting fire against the wind.
Gotti, I feel like you really took us into what it is like there. This devastation goes well beyond the homes destroyed in Pacific Palisades.
Yeah, well beyond the homes. The scope of this is so difficult to comprehend. We've seen schools, we have seen synagogues, we've seen churches here along the Palisades. This is the heart of the Palisades. You've got a restaurant, down to the banks here in the Palisades have been reduced to ash. And unfortunately, we've been in the neighborhoods above, below, and to each side of the heart of the Palisades. And so far, they're saying about 1,000. That's a preliminary number, 1,000 structures lost. We can tell you that number is going to climb significantly. Lester.
All right, Gotti, thank you. Until today, it was hard to imagine destruction on this scale. Today, our Liz Kreutz saw some of the worst of it.
A massive and deadly wildfire emergency is unfolding in Southern California. From the Pacific Palisades to Pasadena, multiple infernos continuing mass destruction of homes and businesses. Tens of thousands forced to evacuate.
Last night was one of the most devastating and terrifying nights that we've seen in any part of our city at any part of our history.
On the coast, the Palisades fire exploding to more than 15,000 acres. 75-mile-per-hour winds overnight, pushing the flames up the Pacific Coast Highway, where it overtook the iconic city of Malibu and created this apocalyptic scene stretching for miles on the California coast.
We're watching multiple beachfront properties here just go up in flames. First responders trying to get a hold of the fires. All the neighboring properties here destroyed as the winds are picking up.
In the Pacific Palisades, officials say at least 1,000 structures lost. Across Southern California, high winds and protected power shutoffs have left more than 1 million people in the dark. At the Eaton fire burning in Altadena, 45 minutes from the coast, at least 5 people have died and more than 100 structures destroyed. As wind-whipped embers expanded the fire's path, it forced the evacuation of this assisted living facility.
You'll see the people on stretchers and just the effort, very rapid effort to try to get these people out of harm's way.
For many, the race to get out was by any means necessary.
Which is your house?
Yeah, this is our house. Backyard's on fire. I'm out of here.
Some of the most expensive real estate in the world reduced to rubble on Pacific Coast Highway.
Here at PCH, home after home after home of beachfront properties are destroyed. Usually you would see the Pacific Ocean there. Now it's just ashes and smoke.
As fires still burn, officials urging residents not to ignore evacuation orders.
A high number of significant injuries to residents who did not evacuate, in addition to first responders who were on the fire line.
Today, President Biden meeting with local officials, including Governor Gavin Newsom, who toured the destruction.
Have you ever seen anything like this?
The closest approximation was Paradise, California, which is one of the most deadly fires in U.S. history. But at this stage, a little over 24 hours, nothing comes close.
Tonight, thousands displaced with the flames still threatening homes.
This is the garage.
In Malibu, Steve Wiggins says he tried everything to save his.
So I kept spraying all the embers, and then the next thing I know, a 30-foot wall of fire was coming at 60 miles an hour, and I couldn't see, and it was so smoky, and I said, well, it's time to leave.
He came back today to find nothing.
We lost everything we owned, but it doesn't even look like a house anymore. It just looks like something.
A lot of heartbreak, Liz. The fire threat's still very active tonight.
It really is, Lester. In fact, here in Malibu, you can see these crews continuing to work here as they try to put out the flames that are beginning to consume this home here on the coast. Millions across LA are on alert right now, with some evacuation orders even issued in Santa Monica, with red flag warnings continuing through at least Friday. Lester.
All right, Liz Kreutz, thanks. We want to give you a lay of the land now as to where all this is happening and look at why resources may be so stretched. Los Angeles County is the most populous county in the nation, with major urban centers, sparkling beach communities, and rugged mountains. Pacific Palisades, where the first fire broke out yesterday, sits on the coast, Malibu to its north, iconic Santa Monica to its south. Moving inland 25 miles to the north and east of the Palisades is the Sylmar area. That's where the Hearst fire is burning. And then another 25 miles southeast from there is Altadena, near Pasadena, where the deadly Eaton fire is raging tonight and where we find our Steve Patterson. Steve, good evening.
Lester, the air quality here has been miserable for now more than 24 hours. You can feel it. And when the smoke bill is like this, it travels for miles. Area hospitals now filling up due to smoke inhalation, with experts saying the best thing you can do is to stay inside. And even then, if you have an air purifier, use one. If you have to be out in this, wet rags and surgical masks will not work. You need an N95 with a purifier. Today, the air quality index, or AQI, reached more than 300. That's hazardous to everyone, not just the most at-risk groups. Lester?
All right. Thanks, Steve Patterson. Our colleagues at our NBC station in Los Angeles, KNBC, have been working nonstop for more than 24 hours covering this disaster. Their deep connection to those communities reflected in so much of their coverage, including this moment when reporter Michelle Valles was on the air as neighbors battled flames consuming the home next door.
This home next to it was on fire, and they were making gains here. They were making gains, and then all of a sudden the winds picked up. And you can just see how it's fueling the fire next door as these neighbors desperately try to keep their home from catching fire. So you're just helpless as you watch these people doing probably, you put yourself in their situation, and it's really dark, and it's really fiery here. There's a lot of explosions, and there's just no help in sight, and you're just wondering when this is all going to end. Riverside County, please stop. Yeah. Thank you so much. Oh my goodness. Praise the Lord. I mean, they're going to really douse this fire here.
An amazing television moment, and certainly an amazing moment of humanity. Let me bring in Al Roker now. Al, what are the conditions that help fuel these fires? Is there any sense and sign of relief?
There is some relief coming, Lester. We saw those air flights resume because the winds have died down. The biggest problem is since October 1st, they've gotten less than 10% of their average rainfall. The good news is this high pressure, low pressure combo that has been squeezing these Santa Ana winds out, that's been the problem. Well, now they're starting to move to the east and separate, so the winds are starting to die down. That's good news. In fact, you can see those winds overnight coming down, the gusts into single digits in some spots. Now, the next thing we're worried about, that storm system in the southwest, that's going to cause 52 million people to be under winter storm warnings, advisories, watches. Snowfall amounts, Dallas 2 to 5, 3 to 6 in Tupelo, plus icing conditions stretching from Texas all the way into the southeast. Big travel problems over the next 24 hours.
Okay, Val, thank you for that update. Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news.
All right, guys. Thank you for watching that video. I do have one more because I'm trying to get everybody caught up on the wildfires that's devastating Los Angeles and the surrounding areas in California. So I do have one more video. And then tomorrow, I'm hoping to try to do a go live, because I know a lot of people are not in front of their TVs right now. They don't have a TV probably, and they can't get to a TV now. So a lot of people may have their phones or may have access to a phone. So that's where I want to come in and try to, as many people that want to watch my live, so that way they can get updates and see what's going on and see what's happening. I want to do whatever I can for the residents and the families, everyone that's there. I want to do whatever I can to try to get as much information out and much coverage myself out as possible too. So that's why, and that's why I'm putting it out for you all. Okay. And then once it's 2 a.m. now, so I'm going to do this last one, and then I'm going to get ready for bed myself. But I will be back when I wake up. If I still got my voice, I'll be doing a live. Even if I don't have my voice, I can still bring it up, type it into my slides, and present it to you all and drop the videos while we live. I have a way to do it. Believe me, I can find a way. So This is the last video. The second video is the last. This is with CNN. This is an actor describes his neighborhood rescue an hour before houses burned down in the wildfire. I don't know what actor it is, but we're getting ready to see. I have not watched the video myself, but we're going to see together. Now, this information with CNN will be down in my description box, so you all, if you want to go back and look at it, you can. So I'm going to go ahead and get started with this video. I'm sorry about that, guys. As you can see, the different areas: Pasadena fire, Eaton fire, Hearst, Woodley, Los Angeles, Burbank, Thousand Oaks, Moore Park, San Bernardino, Los Angeles, Malibu, Santa Monica. Okay, guys, here we go. I'm going to go ahead and it said officials over 1,000 buildings. I can't say it all. Let me. No, I want that to play. So if a person having problems, they can hearing, at least they can read it as it go along. Okay, so I'm going to keep that up, the caption, so they can read it as it go along if they can't hear it good. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and get started.
The people who did evacuate yesterday is actor James Woods, who is in Beverly Hills. Thank you for joining us. Talk to us. What have you seen?
Well, we were literally in the exact epicenter of the fire as it started. That's actually a view from my porch.
Yep, this
that's
is a
the
video
house
you
one
shot.
below us
Yep.
on fire. Yeah. My neighbor called and he said a fellow named Robert Trinkteller was about 5 houses up. You have to understand the Palisades is almost like an old-fashioned neighborhood. Sidewalks, all the neighbors know each other. We all have each other's phone numbers, and people are very aware that we're in a fire zone. And in fact, I had said day before yesterday, to my wife Sarah, I said, "Oh, that guy on the hillside hasn't cut down his grass. They got to cut down that brush because there's going to be a fire." And that's the person who didn't cut that brush was a person, that fire you're looking at right now. That's my pool right there. That was the brush below us that was not cut. And so we went out. I had a record of the call. In 17 minutes later, we were evacuated with the clothes on our back. Our garage door wouldn't open because the wind was so bright, it torqued the door. And we finally got out. When we got to the bottom of the hill, I said, "Oh my God, we have a neighbor who's 94 years old who has dementia." And I said, there were no cars on the driveway. And we would go over and help him get in his chair, sometime if he fell with the caregiver. But I knew he was in the hospital. And I don't know, God was on his side. I decided to call his son in Massachusetts and said, "Hey, Francis, just to be sure, your dad's still in the hospital, right?" He said, "No, he got home last night. And there's a new caregiver and I don't have the number." And they wouldn't let us back up. So I finally got through to 911 and said, "A welfare check, you got to go check on this guy." Well, there was a miscommunication. And I called my neighbor who hadn't evacuated yet. He was on his roof, fighting his fire. He'd been on my roof. He'd hosed my roof down. I said, "Go in and check on him." He went. He said, "The door's open. There's nobody here." He went in and yelled. He said, "No, nobody here." I said, "Look, just go behind the pantry. There's a little room. We can see him during the day. He likes to sit there because there's a garden." He went in and found him. He'd been left alone. Okay. And it turned out the fire department made the new caregiver leave. And, she just does what she was told. They said, "We're coming back for him." Well, they hadn't come back for him. I'm hoping that they would have. But, there was so much chaos. It was like an inferno. Every house was on fire around us. And, he got him out and the house burned down about an hour later. he would have been in there alone. It was just, and then Robert called us and told us that that house had gone and the house below that and then the house on the other side. And then at 11:49 last night, all the smoke alarms in our house alerted our phones that our house that we had just renovated for 3 years and had just finally moved into about 3 months ago. All the smoke alarms are going off, so that's hardly a good sign. So I'm not sure, but it wouldn't make any difference because the whole street's burned down. So I mean, even if you go back to your home, look, we knew what was coming, and when we were out on our driveway, I looked and the smoke was so black. There's a house across the street was on fire. The house next door was on fire, and all the black smoke was down there, and the schools are down there. And I said to Sarah, we can't go down there because they're trying to evacuate the schools, and we'll just be in the way. And here's the thing that's so important. People have got to evacuate when they tell you to evacuate, because if you don't evacuate and you think you're going to be out there with a little garden hose, stopping a conflagration with flames 80 feet high in 90-mile-an-hour winds, you're not going to be helping. You're just going to be stopping the firefighters who do such an amazing job. And you've got to be out of the way, man. You've just got to get out of the way and let them do their jobs. And yes, maybe your home's going to burn down, but let me tell you what's more important than your home is your 94-year-old neighbor and your fellow across the street who's trying to help you, and all the friends and family who've been calling all day. And yes, we're safe. And yes, I think everybody on our street survived, although I can't get a hold of Robert. And I called a friend of mine who lived in Malibu, in Mandeville Canyon, and she had called me, are you okay? And I said, yeah, you got to get out of there, Carol. She said, oh, well, we're miles from you. I said, but we're packed, we're ready, because people who live in fire zones are ready. You got to be ready to go. And as ready as we were, everything I own is in this room. Every single thing that I own is in this room. We got a basket of laundry, glasses, pills, and the keys to our car, and that's it.
I just can't stop also thinking about your neighbor, and if you hadn't intervened, what would have happened?
I mean, how about Robert, who in the middle, the house was on fire next door. Our deck was on fire, and the guy ran into the house and got it. I was just blessed that God said, hey, call his son and just be sure.
Yeah.
And his son didn't know about it, because then the fire, he's, oh my God, and he's trying to get out here, and there's no flights. And then we couldn't find him because he has dementia. So they put him in a hospital somewhere. And then he called me at 2 o'clock this morning. He said, I found him, because I said, go to St. John's. He'll probably be there. And we were able to track when Robert had texted me so that we knew. But by the way, I'm sure the paramedics are coming back for him. It wasn't like they said, oh, we're going to just leave this guy here. So I want to make that clear. It was just a matter of timing. And the poor caregiver, I'm sure, was doing exactly what she was ordered to do. It was just one of those scary things. I mean, look, you can't imagine how great the Los Angeles Fire Department and the Los Angeles Police Department and the Sheriff's Department and the DWP, these people are out there fighting, man. That's I'm standing in my driveway. See that flame? I'm standing in my driveway looking up there.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, the planes were going over, and it was like.
And what were you thinking as you're out there shooting this right outside of your home? I mean, what's going through your mind?
You know what I was thinking? I'll tell you what I was thinking. I'm from Rhode Island, and a friend of mine was the guy who did all the remediation for you remember the station fire where 100 people burned to death in a nightclub fire.
Mm-hmm.
And this is true. There were people in the doorway who had tried to get out, and there were people who were literally 2 feet in the pile of bodies who got out and survived by being debris, and the other people next to them died. And all I remember thinking is, man, when I was a kid, our house burned down. I was 6 years old. It goes up in seconds, not hours, not let's get that picture that Uncle Tina, Aunt Tina sent us of the kid. Get out of the house, get in the car, get out of the way, and let them do their job. Your house will go up like a matchbook.
Because it sounds like
we were.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to say, know your neighbors, have a plan. I mean, thank God our neighbors, Havisa, Robert, Stephanie across the street, Francis next door. All our neighbors are all checking with each other. Are you out? Are you safe? Are your pets out? Everybody was taking care of everybody. We were on the roof of our house before the fire. We thought it wasn't going to be this bigger fire. You always worried about embers. There was a fellow up the street who's working on the house. And I said, hey, man, would you come on our roof and help us? I'll pay you. You don't have to pay me, man. He was one of the workers, and he did it. And I insisted, take something. And no, it's just wanted to help, man. It's just people helping people. But,
yeah.
I mean, our beautiful little house, it's like we've been in a hotel all through COVID. This lovely hotel, people are so great. Take care of us yesterday, and we were fixing our house, and we finally had it done, and we were swimming every day, and my blood pressure was going down, and if you ever saw the views from that house before this fire, they were just it was I posted it today on X. It was paradise, and our neighbors are we knew them all, and now it's all.
Yeah, it's a reminder anything can be just taken away in an instant. So much is out of your control. And as you're there, you were taking that video and you're seeing how quickly it's all happening. You must have been wondering, how am I going to get out of here safely? I mean, I know our CNN crews dealt with the same situation.
Well, let me tell you, I was standing in the driveway and all of a sudden I said, Sarah, the planes are going over. They dropped their retardant, but they're like, it's like those planes aren't, 2,000 feet in the air. They're like 40 feet over your house, and I was looking down, the fire was the black, and you could see the flames, the house is on fire, the house is on fire. And then over by the hillside where Robert had shown me, he said, look, come to my house, look at this fire. As soon as I saw that fire, I said, with this wind, we're out of here. We've got to get out of here and make sure everybody's safe. And I was looking and I said, that smoke is white. This smoke is black. It's moving this way. We've got to go that way, because white smoke means that they got the fire out, at least, the major part of it, and we'll be out of the way of the congestion. And as soon as we got down the hill, we finally got into the Sunset congestion. It's 9 miles to Beverly Hills. It takes us usually about 25 minutes. Took 2.5 hours. And you have to understand, somebody didn't charge their car, their electric car, didn't put gas in their gasoline car, and now they're on Sunset. Oh, I got to abandon my car, and now the fire trucks can't get through, and now people can't walk. When we couldn't get our garage door open because the wind was blocking, because our door goes up like this, I said, oh my God, we're up in the hills here, and we got to walk out? I can't walk. I'm 77 years old, man. I can't walk up these hills. It's like Mount Everest here. It's like, pretty steep. So, it's just, I posted this on X, but Sarah was on with her 8-year-old niece last night. And she came out. I'm sorry. Just, one day you're swimming in the pool and the next day it's all gone. But she came out with her little Yeti piggy bank for us to rebuild our house.
Oh my gosh. James Woods, we all hope that you will be able to rebuild your house, maybe starting with that little Yeti piggy bank. And we're just glad that you're okay and your wife is okay.
I'm sorry,
you have your
I'm
lives.
usually,
Yeah, no, I mean, this is real and it's raw.
I thought I
and
would be
you,
stronger than this.
you don't need, you are, you know what? It's strength is not measured by whether, you hold in crying or not. Strength is what you are doing now and helping your neighbors and shining a light on the great, amazing work of all those firefighters and emergency crews out there. You have so much strength, and we appreciate you coming on to reflect what so many others just like you are experiencing in that raw emotion right now. We wish you the best, you and your wife, as you rebuild your lives. So many people are doing that right now and trying to process what's going on. So, James, and also keep us posted on your 94-year-old neighbor and everything going there. We're going to continue to talk, and we wish you the very best.
Okay. He's okay.
Yeah.
They found him. He's in the hospital.
He's okay. Yeah.
I just worry. If anybody knows where Robert Trinkteller is, call me.
Yeah.
Let me know. All right.
That's
Thank you
an
so
important
much.
message. And also there's this app that's really important called Watch Duty Wildfire Map, and it helps you know where the wildfires are, how many acres it's covering, and how to evacuate. So I want to put that out there too, as just a resource for people. James Wood, thank you so much, and we wish you the best.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you for joining us.
All right, guys, that is actor James Wood was giving us detail about how his wife and him escaped the wildfires that destroyed their home. And thank God for him that he thought about his neighbor, his 94-year-old neighbor, to get the other neighbor to go next door to check on him. That was fighting the wildfire for his house, trying to save his house, but he got him to go check on the neighbor. And then he realized he tend to sit behind the I think it's behind the island or somewhere in a little area where he likes to look out. And because at first he said no one was there. His neighbor said no one was home. He didn't see anybody. And then he gave him that little tidbit where he likes to sit, and he found him. It's just things like that. But tomorrow we will be watching and keeping track of the wildfires. Plus, I do want to keep track of the weather, all the blizzard warnings of the snow and the storm of the ice and snow coming in from all across, all up and down from the East Coast, all the way down from east to south, all parts, central, everything. Okay, so we're going to cover that because a lot of people are being affected by the snowstorm and by the wildfires. We didn't have much of a winter, and now we got this. There's only 8 days or 9 days until the year. Well, it's 9 now because it's 2:18 a.m. and I'm going straight to bed. But it's only 9 days into the new year of 2025, and this is what we have to look forward to. So, only thing I can say, guys, prayers go up for everyone. Okay. Go ahead and make sure you hit that like button if you forgot, and subscribe to my channel. And I want to tell you thank you for taking time to watch. All right. Deadly wildfires devastating California. All right. Thank you guys. And you all have a good night. All right. Talk to you tomorrow. This is your girl, Pinkie.